The paper says it all. Student saves lives. Intervention of lone student likely prevented further bloodshed, Degrassi principal says. Student assailant dead after struggle for gun. One other student seriously wounded. Investigation underway. If you can read it, it says 18-year-old Sean Cameron, inset, was hailed as a hero by local and law enforcement officials for stepping in front of fellow student Rick Murray and struggling for the gun he used to shoot another student, Jimmy Brooks, who is hospitalized with unexpected spinal cord injuries. There is yet an official word on his injuries, yet any explanations of what prompted Murray to bring the gun to the school and begin firing. I thought that they couldn't talk about Rick Murray not because of his age being 16. So yeah, the newspaper article tells a lot. Of course, the newspaper article is fake. There's no such paper as the Toronto Dispatch, and the date of the masthead's July. July. This was supposed to be in October. Basically, you know, Sean is a hero. He did a lot of good things and all that. He did the right thing by he tried to calm Rick down, but Rick wouldn't listen. Rick points the gun at Emma. So basically, Sean and Rick go for the gun. Gunshot goes off. Rick's dead. Sean just gets injured. It's funny how his injuries basically healed quick because he's not sporting any bandages. But yeah, Sean Cameron is a freaking hero. Very underrated. Season 3, we grew to hate him because of how he stole stuff to impress his friends and basically took advantage of poor Emma. But in the end, Sean's a hero. On Monday? But no, the school's being open to students to deal with guidance counselors and basically talk to Miss Sove and get schoolwork done. There are no classes. Basically, if you want to get to school and do your job and do your homework and that's fine. But grief counselors are there to help. And Sean steals Radish's thunder by basically getting the interviews and all that. Wonder if Radish was about the Degrassi shooting in different ways. I know that Craig comes off as a jerk sometimes, but I mean, Craig had the point. It's like, we shouldn't be giving this guy sympathy. He shot Jimmy, and he basically, he shot somebody. I think Craig would have also been upset if someone shot somebody. And of course, Toby, being Rick's only true friend, is conflicted by his feelings. Basically, Craig says something to the effect of everything, and then Simpson said, "This is not about blame Craig. This is about trying to talk things through and all that." And of course, Craig knows because he ended up being the first student to see Jimmy's body after Rick shot him. It's strange how Rick didn't point the gun at Craig, didn't go after Craig. But I think basically it was just a one and done deal. But then Emma, Sean, and Toby just had to walk in Rick's path, and Rick had to basically get rid of Emma for spurning him, if you will. Sean seems to not take things well, basically laughing it off and all that. Sometimes laughter is the best medicine, but sometimes Sean basically is hiding things. And his mood will change after this next into the media room, and basically Simpson wants to know Sean's opinions on things. Simpson tries to talk to Sean about his feelings. Sean doesn't really have any feelings and all that. Unfortunately, though, that would change as Emma bursts in the classroom and basically says she can't do it. People are just staring at her. Basically, people are putting pieces together, and that Emma was nearly shot at by Rick. Basically, that Emma could have been a dead duck if it wasn't for Sean's intervention. And Emma thanks Sean for that. I mean, come on. Emma thanks Sean. And basically, she's upset by everything. I understand. I really do. That Emma basically was upset. All that. Now, you may be thinking, would there be any other student who would have put themselves in harm's way for Emma? Well, other than Sean, Toby could have. I mean, Toby was Rick's best friend. Rick probably might have dropped the gun if Toby talked to him and all that. Unfortunately, that's a falsified statement. And whatever happens, happens. But anyway, it proves the point. It's like, would the school have cared if Emma got shot? Because I know some of them were so pissed at Emma for ruining the cause. So, as you can probably guess, Sean is happy and all that. But Sean's tone changes when he learns that his parents got interviewed and all that. And basically, Sean gets miffed that his parents would say that because they're the ones who sent him to Toronto. in his mind, it's all their fault. It's like, basically, why did they dump me off and all that? But there would be a good reason why, in a sense. So let's go to the next scene, which basically is how Toby is being harassed by JT. He saw his best friend and Sean wrestle for the gun, and the gun go off right in front of him and Emma. Toby is conflicted what to think about Rick. I mean, I know that Toby was a geeky friend to Rick, but basically, it's like, what can you do? What can you say? So basically, what ends up happening is that, JT and Danny berate him for being Rick's friend. Manny notices that Toby is looking at the thing for Jimmy and basically asks Toby how he's doing. And Toby says that my best friend abandoned me. And all that. I feel so bad. People are picking him. Manny realizes that JT was doing something and basically decides to set him right. I know JT was upset that Manny abandoned him, but it was his own damn fault. I mean, he had a penis pump. He had penis envy. Manny knew he couldn't be the bigger man. Couldn't grow up. I know you look at the still frame, it's like, did Sean really attempt to kill himself? When you look at it, like in full speed, basically you're like, what happened? He was just doing the jet ski in circles, blah, blah, blah. He was trying to calm himself down after Ellie tries to talk some sense into him. And then all of a sudden, he jumps off and all that. But Tyler, thank goodness for his job. Well, he's a lifeguard. He has to save Sean, even though Sean and Tyler had conflict in Wasaga Beach. And basically, Sean basically had to bolt to Toronto or else he would have been in jail. So practically, yeah, that was hard to imagine that Sean would try to kill himself. And I didn't think it would be a suicide attempt. But sadly, though, that was kind of a weird jump. And it looked like a suicide attempt. That's not right. So basically, yeah, it's amazing what could happen. And, Sean is not right. Sean has some repressed stuff. How the hell can you do that? But they did. They did it out of concern for Sean's well-being and all that. Sean's happy about it. But then Sean realizes, and he confesses to his parents that basically he grabbed the gun and accidentally pulled the trigger, and basically that shot killed Rick. He thought he killed Rick, and he was worried about things. I know Sean obviously was worried because he thought that the cops were going to be basically on his tail saying that, why did you shoot this kid? All that. It was just accidental, and he was trying to protect somebody, so I think he was worried that the cops were going to be after him and all that. But in a way, Sean could have also been upset because he might have realized that when he told Jane Spinner about, don't tell Radich about the circle and the X on the cars, maybe he felt guilt because he just gave he gave Spinner, Jay, and Alex a chance to try to destroy Rick, and he might have thought he may have contributed to it. But I think Spinner, Jay, and Alex had plans up their sleeve. And besides, maybe they didn't think about the paint and feathers until after Jimmy stood up for Rick, and Rick flashed the sign. Basically, it was Rick's fault, and then they turned it up to 11. It wasn't Sean's fault. Sean has nothing to worry about. Feeling that Toby was the only true friend, and the lack of Degrassi students at the funeral, not the funeral, but the visitation, spoke volumes. It was either basically they were upset so much that they blamed themselves for Rick's demise, or basically they needed to stay away because they didn't want to be associated with Rick and all that, and they didn't want to appear weak. JT learns his lesson and all that. But it's hard to say. I think Mrs. Murray, and this was the last time we see her. She will probably have a lot more to think about in the aftermath that we don't see. Basically, the question is going to be, why did Rick have easy access to the gun in his dad's cabinet? How could Rick have had a gun, easily had the gun, and basically, yeah, the firearm stuff. And if you're going to keep your firearm safe, how did it come Rick knew where the gun was? I figure that the Murrays would basically be charged with firearms offenses, maybe probation or something, and basically they are forced to leave Toronto because they don't want to be a part of this situation. But when you look in the deep heart of things, it's going to be hard to notice. It's like, did they get punished for anything? did they get any sympathy? Did they get any reward for it? Because, maybe the Murrays got a settlement from the school board because of how Rick's death was handled. Maybe it was, we'll get rid of Raj for you in exchange for money and something like that. I don't know. Maybe they got paid off, got off. Who knows? But anyway, Raj, this would be the least of his troubles because the aftermath would show how much of a monster he sometimes is. That'll be the next video. We'll leave you with Sean's